Welcome back to Sista Brunch, and this is a special episode of Sista Brunch. It is a bonus episode with Black Girls Film Camp. Now, they are no stranger to the podcast. We had them on last year for Essence. Our co-host with me today has been here before, so I will not even spend more time other than to say that welcome back, Avery Kelley.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be in person rather than over a Zoom call.
Isn't it so nice?
It's so nice. I get to give her a hug.
We got to hug, yes.
So
and
fantastic.
You have an auntie now, as you know, just one of many aunties that you have here. And I just want to tell the audience a little bit about our guest, and then I'm going to turn it over to the expert Avery Kelley to do the rest of this interview. But Salena Rochester, we are so honored to have you on this bonus episode of Sista Brunch. So Salena is a Peabody Award-winning producer and writer with over a decade of experience as a production and development executive in the TV industry. Known for her work on major unscripted series like The Real Housewives of Atlanta and New York. Y'all know you watch those. Married to Medicine and $1 Million Listing Los Angeles, and the critically acclaimed documentary The Rebellious Life of Mrs. Rosa Parks, which we've had a few guests now that have worked on projects about Rosa Parks. Salena knows how to transform original ideas into powerful programming. She has produced for various networks from Bravo, E! To Peacock, and she continues to shape the landscape of TV with her impactful approach to content. Welcome, and now I'm going to pass it over to Avery Kelley, whose film for Black Girls Film Camp was The All Around. So I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit and then get into the interview.
I'll talk about it very briefly. My film, The All Arounds, that I made with Black Girls Film Camp, such a fantastic thing to be able to work on. It was a project that was able to focus on Black sisterhood and be able to talk about the Black community, and of course Double Dutch, something that is heavily rooted in the Black community. So it was really good to be able to touch on that and do such an amazing project with Black Girls Film Camp. But now on to you. First off, that resume is loaded, stacked, and it is so cool to be able to hear everything that you're doing. I know that it was talked about how you are a producer, an executive in unscripted content, but you're also a writer as well, so you've dabbled in scripted content. So what would you say are some major differences that you've noticed between the two of working on unscripted content and scripted content?
Well, first I want to say thank you for having me. I love this organization. I'm really happy to do this interview.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I'll say the main difference with scripted and unscripted is that, when doing unscripted content, you're looking for the story because you're dealing with real people. Contrary to popular belief, reality is not scripted. It's really all about the casting. You have to find interesting people who have interesting lives. And it's the job of the producer to figure out, how do we tell a particular story in the 3 to 4 months that we have with this person? And what, paths do we get to have a beginning, middle, and end? Whereas with scripted, you're writing it. You're as the writer, you're coming up with the world, you're coming up with the characters, you're coming up with the story arcs, and you're creating it, and you just have to find people to execute your story.
I feel like from an unscripted lens, I can say I personally am a huge fan of unscripted alongside scripted, and I love the projects that you've worked on. Married to Medicine is something my mom and I watch weekly. So and so to be able to know that it's really about the casting and the people that you find, it is definitely a different creative avenue that lots of people may not understand just the amount of work that it puts in. And I feel like it's really cool to be able to hear that from your lens for sure. Now, from a development perspective, you have worked in the world of development, and development can be something that is so non-linear that a lot of people will have a concept and make the concept, but still not understand how to execute that so an audience can see it. What is some advice that you would give to Black women in the industry, especially young Black girls like us who are part of Black Girls Film Camp, that are searching to develop their projects? So whether or not it's with a studio or independently, what is some advice that you would give us?
I would say, one, know your audience. You may have an idea, and your idea would only be suited for certain networks or certain studios, so you wouldn't go to MTV with a super serious, The Rebellious Life of Mrs. Rosa Parks couldn't be pitched to MTV because that's just not their content. So that's first and foremost. A lot of times people will think that they have an interesting idea and just pitch it wide, but it's really just thinking about who this idea is for. And then getting help if you are a first-time person trying to get your project made, reaching out to a production company who can open up that door to a network or who can give you resources like building out a deck, bringing on people. That's really helpful. If you have a direct line to the network or studio, definitely go that route. But it's always helpful to have like a production company behind you if you haven't done it before.
Okay, I just took 50 billion mental notes. I wish that I had my notebook in front of me right now because I would have written down everything you said. But don't worry, when this comes out, I'll go back and I'll
Exactly.
So I'll take a little listen to it so I can write down those notes for sure, which is so helpful. But one of the final things that I want to be able to ask you is from a personal perspective. You have worked in so many different lanes within this industry and have worked on a variety of projects. As I said, that resume that you read was stacked. But personal goal-wise, what is a type of project, unscripted or scripted, or a specific topic that you would really like to dive into with your work, whether or not it's a passion project that you would really want to work on? But what are some future goals that you have for yourself in your career?
Definitely at this point is to sell my own show. I spent so many years as a buyer, which is great. I loved, working on shows for the network, all of those shows, but now I want to create my own. And so my goal, is to sell one of my shows. And so I'm out there as a seller pitching left and right, but hopefully Buckhead Prep will be a show and a project that will make it to air one day.
Yes.
Okay.
Salena, I am so sorry that we have to cut this short. This was just a little teaser. We will absolutely have you back on the show for a full episode. Hopefully Avery will come back with us.
Of course.
We have to point out that your nails match the Black Girls Film Camp theme. That is beautiful. We're so grateful for you to be here and to be an inspiration to all of us. Thank you so much for coming on Sista Brunch, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.